Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for my client Jordan's vlog, and he is on a deload week this week, and I put up a screenshot at the start of what his deload looks like. For those curious with the deload, why are we doing one? We noticed a little bit of inflamed connective tissue, and as I've said before numerous times, generally when I get connective tissue inflammation, I like to deload my lifters. Irrespective of how advanced they are. We understand he's still a novice, but he is a rapidly progressing novice. He is very explosive. Right, this kid has a lot of potential. Like he's going to be monstrously strong. Later after he gets done with men's basketball and the other sports and stuff he's playing that he can't get super big for yet. This guy's could go into powerlifting and be super strong, or really any sport. But the thing is, we're building his strength base, and he's doing scrimmages and stuff right now, right? So that takes a lot of recovery out of him. So, we only have him lifting 3 days a week because of the amount of practice he has to do. We also have him dragging a sled a couple times a week. He's out doing sled drags. As he adapts to this stuff more, we will work more plyometrics in. But the thing that he's noticed already, people who he's in scrimmages and stuff with, who he knows are like, "Man, you've gotten like faster, like you've got way more power." And, again, they're noticing it. And it's the thing that I told him early on, and he realized, of course, that strength first. Build a strength base. It will carry over to all your other endeavors, including explosiveness. And then we train those other components after we build a strength base further. So I'll have him start doing box jumps and med ball throws and things like that eventually. We don't need them right now, because right now just getting his strength, his maximum strength up, his absolute strength up, will cover those things. But they will need specialization eventually. But in the meantime, he's has sport-specific practice every week. He has scrimmages every week. He has GPP every week. Right, he's got a lot on his plate to recover from. So when we start getting connective tissue inflammation, what do we need to do? We need to deload. Particularly with a lot of these explosive young athletes, they're so easy to coach and they have so much potential. But as a coach, our job is to not break them. Right, and I'm not talking about mentally breaking or emotionally breaking, like they talk about. I'm talking physically breaking. We can't afford for that to happen. They're paying us to not break them. And we have to remember that as coaches and trainers. And, we have to put limits on accordingly. And that means, hey, if something hurts, we deload. That's it. We do some deloads. And in this case, what do? I take all his heavy work out. We basically take the assistance work and we take it from 50% down to 40% for sets of 10 with no heavy work first. It's just light. It's just practicing the movement patterns, resparking a little muscle protein synthesis. I only have him do a couple of other little minor things. I'm having him do rows because he can't do pull-ups on a deload. Why? Or chin-ups because they're too heavy. Like we can't leave 5-6 reps in reserve. Not get any respectable reps. So I'm having to take him over to a barbell row. Right, I'm taking him over to a barbell row because we can do lightweight. We can do 5 sets of 10 with an empty barbell, just to get the same movement pattern for the upper and middle back, biceps and grip and all that stuff. And of course here he can do some split squats and stuff. Again, we're just keeping blood flow to these areas, putting a little bit of resistance on them, but the sets are so far from failure that they're not really fatiguing. So there's no recovery negatives to this. And this is one of the ways to deload. It's like an active deload, instead of just taking a week off. Right, and it keeps everything sharp. You can be a really advanced lifter, can get away with weeks off and still maintain their movement patterns. Guys like this can't. Okay, we have to maintain these things. So that's what we come in and do. And the things like the benching, I have him working on using good technique, pausing, doing all that stuff, trying to get set in tight. I'd like him tighter. He does get a good arch. He's got a good arch. Got a good pause. Of course, the fact that he could lift his and re-scoot his butt on the bench says that, okay, maybe we need to get a little tighter down below. But it's not terrible. It's not terrible because he is getting set in decently. And this set looks a lot cleaner. Like I'm a lot happier with this one versus that one I just saw. But he set in real tight. Right, he set in real tight. The other thing to look at that wrist stacking. That wrist stacking. That's what we want to see, guys. It's what we want to see, and this is what I always promote and preach. Notice there's no real bend of the wrist. The bar is directly over his wrist, directly over his elbow. Okay, this is what we want to see. This is pretty close to optimal. And we can argue about strength and certain hypertrophy elements with different grip widths, but if we're looking for, just the most muscle mass you can gain, this is how you want to stack your wrist. You want to find the position to where when you get to the bottom and you touch the chest, your forearm is perfectly 90 degrees from the floor in all directions, from the side view, from the bottom view. That's pretty close to optimal. Why? Puts the most mechanical tension on the pecs. Right, we get the most mechanical tension on the pecs in the deepest stretch position this movement allows. Right, this is pec building. So people who try to say silly stuff like the bench press doesn't build a mass chest, it's one of the best exercises ever. Not just for powerlifters, for everyone. So people don't know how to bench. They're not looking at those sort of things going on. Hey, how do we maximize tension on the chest? And do they pause? All these things, right? That's what we want to see. Get off on a side tangent there, but yeah, that's absolutely what we want to see. And then you may need a different grip than that for powerlifting. You might need a different grip to max out, depending on what's going on. But if your goal is to build your chest, which will still carry over to a bigger bench, right? We want to see some stacking like that. You guys have seen me doing that lately on both my flat bench and my incline. All right, deadlifting. Again, these are pretty easy for him, but I've been teaching him this, and he's getting good at wedging against that bar. He's getting good at wedging against that bar. And now, is it perfect? No, but it's not bad, especially for sets of 10, because he's able to re-wedge. Watch that. He drops those hips each time and re-wedges, right? So that we can then use the quads to break off the floor. Because if you re-wedge in like that, we get tight, and then you can use the quads to pop it off the floor, which is what we want. Okay, we get that leg drive. So, again, he's learning quickly. Now, of course, he's using straps for all this, and I'm okay with that. I mean, if I want to do extra grip stuff, I will. But in the meantime, I can't shred this kid's hands up. He needs them for his sport, right? He needs them for his sport. He's not talking about powerlifting right now. He doesn't do anything that's going to require an insane grip. And of course, his pull-ups and stuff and his chin-ups are still going to give grip training every week. So he still gets some grip work. But yeah, end of the deload week, if you guys notice down below, his training maxes are increased. So this next block, we're going to go heavier. And he'll probably just be hitting stupid high reps on the plus sets, even though I raised it. And we'll assess it from there. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.